Live.
We're live?
We're live. We could just continue from where we were talking, and I'll cut it off as we go.
Yeah, what were we talking about before? Hold on, let me fix this. There we go.
So let's just maybe talk about who's here.
Yeah. You want me to just introduce myself?
Yeah.
Sure. My name's Sondra Gatien, and I am the owner, founder, creator of Sondra Gatien Wellness Coaching, and I'm also the creator of my 12-week online signature program of the Mind and Body Takeover. So that's a little bit about me and
Awesome.
who I am and my business.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and thank you for
I'm
coming.
so excited to be
Yeah.
here. by
And
the way.
also, too, aside from that, high school.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually went to, was I in the same grade as your brother?
Yeah, I think you were a year older. Yeah.
Yeah, a year older than you, with David too, and
Yeah,
Maddie.
yeah.
I was closer with Maddie growing up than I was with you. So it's interesting to
Yeah.
find myself here, sitting here
Yeah.
with you. So I love.
That's funny.
Ottawa is so small, eh?
It is.
So I feel like everyone is so interconnected in their own way, but I actually think it's super beautiful. So I'm super honored to be here, sitting with
that's an
you here
absolute
today,
pleasure.
and it's exciting. And
Well,
I'm
I'm so
looking
happy
forward
to
to
have
chatting
you.
with you.
I'm so happy to have you. Well, you're doing things that are exciting.
Yes.
You're making a presence for yourself online.
Yes.
And you're getting yourself out there, and that's actually why we ended up even getting here.
Yeah.
So good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations
Thank
on what
you.
you're doing.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot for you to have reached out to me and to see me and the work that I'm doing. It really, really means a lot to me,
for
because
sure.
sometimes, you put yourself out there, you put your heart and soul into your work, and sometimes, there's always that, like, are people noticing,
Yeah.
right? Is there value to that? Are people inspired by what I'm trying to put out there, right? So,
Absolutely.
knowing that you saw me
Absolutely.
and invited me on here,
Yeah. I know what it means to always have to consider whether or not people are going to judge you a certain way.
Yeah.
And then taking on that.
It's a big risk,
Yeah.
like putting yourself
Yeah.
out there, right? Like, you're taking a big risk, especially when you're new in the industry. You feel like maybe you don't know what you're doing. And I feel like as well, too, with the health and fitness industry, specifically with women, I mean, there's so many fish in the sea, so to speak. Like, there's so many people in that industry. It's like, how do you stand apart from that? What value, what can I add that's different than any other personal trainer or coach out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you get a lot of imposter syndrome when you start out something like that. And I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. So for me to be sitting here today, maybe a year and a half later after launching my business, it's very surreal to me.
Yeah.
But it's also super cool and super exciting because it's just the beginning.
Yeah. It's the scariest, and then it's the most exciting thing ever. Then when you actually get to where you couldn't believe you get to, you just, it just expands you even more.
Like, even in this moment right here, sitting here talking to you, sitting across this table, it's like, holy fuck. Like, can I swear on here?
You can do whatever you want on here. There's no filter on here.
Perfect,
You can do whatever you want on here. There's no problems here.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
So, even that in itself is pretty incredible.
Yeah,
So,
good for you. Good for you.
I'm excited for the future, and it's really just starting, which is amazing. And, we were just talking about branding and shifting that brand, and that's something also that I'm going into. So I'm really, really excited for that. I'm really nervous for that. I don't know what any of that is going to look like. But so much of what I'm applying to myself is how I work with my clients too. So that's why I think the work that I'm doing is really important, because I think there's so many people kind of struggling with believing in themselves. And that's really the source of how I work with my clients. So I think it's exciting to be able to, as I grow, that evolution also helps support their evolution and their healing and their transformations.
Absolutely.
So, I'm
Absolutely.
excited.
Absolutely. It's actually being aware that changes everything. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like the
actually,
self-awareness of that. Yeah.
It's being able to understand where you are,
Yeah.
who you are,
Yeah.
seeing yourself outside of yourself almost.
Yeah, and that's literally the work that I do with my clients. So it's interesting that we're veering into that topic of self-awareness, because that is the foundation, and that's what I truly believe separates my work, my program, and my coaching from anything else out there is because we are integrating like heart-centered self-awareness. So I am going deeper than just mindset with my clients. Okay. And really wanting to help women create that self-awareness so they come back to their bodies. We're coming back to our hearts. And from there, we create transformation and change. So it's really powerful. And
so is it like, more of, so what is it more of a, like a spiritual journey that you're adding on top of this, mindset conditioning? Kind of experience.
Exactly.
That
so it's really
kind of going for.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really about integrating. And I love that you're saying how everybody's kind of going for that, because I do see this big shift, like as a collective, as things are changing too in the world, right? I do see this big shift where people are naturally becoming self-aware and they're being pulled in that direction of working with energy and going deeper than mindset. So we integrate heart work and we integrate energetics into fitness and into their health and into weight loss. So we really work from the inside out in order to get them to become the woman that shows up consistently. Because a lot of the women who I am working with who have struggled with weight loss most of their lives, who have a really poor self-image, poor relationship with food and bodies, just hiring a personal trainer or going to the gym or, doing a 30-day program or get these abs in 6 weeks is not enough for them, right? And because they're yo-yoing and struggling because of their beliefs and thoughts about themselves. So being able to get them to come back to their bodies and be able to create self-awareness allows them to shift their thoughts, their beliefs about who they are so that they can actually become the women that shows up consistently. So that's like really what separates me from anything else out there, is because it's not enough, in my opinion, to just go through the motions of eating well and exercising if you're not able to do it consistently long term, right? So we really, to me, struggling with weight loss is a symptom, not the problem.
Yes.
Right? Even if you're overweight, if depression, anxiety, all of that is a symptom. It's actually not the root problem. So just like throwing a meal plan and doing some workouts is not going to be enough long term. I want my clients to actually transform into a woman who loves to go to the gym, who looks forward to taking care of their body, who actually is empowered when making decisions around food and fueling themselves, and actually has concrete tools in place to help them navigate stress, right? Because I'm not here to create this bullshit approach where I'm like, you're coming to me and you're going to be, jumping through rainbows and everything's going to be beautiful and perfect when we're done working together, because that would be a lie, right? Because life is always happening to us. Rather, actually, I want to reframe that. Life is always happening for us, right? So being able to give them tools and create that self-awareness to be empowered when life happens to them and still be able to show up in their fitness, in their health, in taking care of themselves is the ultimate goal, I think. That is the flex, right? It's not whether right? So taking them out of that victim mode, why is this happening to me? And really letting go of that all or nothing mindset.
It's almost becoming selfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking care of self.
Exactly, right? So, and most of the women that I work with, right, live in that all or nothing mindset. If it's not 100%, then they're not doing enough. Then they're failing, right? And that is the most exhausting expectation we can ever hold on ourselves.
If you don't mind me cutting you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is the most common thing that comes to you in terms of what women are missing, and then what is it that they get out of let's say a conversation like this, or what kind of transformation do they actually experience
when working together?
I'm curious to know how they come in. At what point do they come in?
At what point do they come in? Most of them come in hitting a complete rock bottom. Most of the women I work with are extremely overwhelmed. They're very anxious. They suffer from depression, anxiety. They're very reactive and they're very self-critical. Not all of them actually struggle with weight loss specifically, but being consistent and taking care of themselves and their bodies is something that I see all the time. And then the women who come to me for weight loss, they really, really believe that the weight is what is going to make them feel better. So that's the number one thing that I see is just women just spinning.
Yeah.
Like they're not grounded. They're looking outside of themselves for validation and for answers. And they actually have no idea how to just be connected with themselves and be able to lead making decisions in their lives, both outside of just weight loss and like being able to make those decisions within their lives outside of weight loss, like being confident in that and trusting themselves. There's like this huge lack of trust and self-worth and being enough. So that's actually what I would say. The number one thing that I see and that the issue is that women do not believe they are worthy enough to show up and to do the things that get them the results that they desire. So we can't be consistent with something in our lives if we don't think we are worthy enough of having that, right? And then they're always in this perpetual state of, I am not enough. So they overwork, right? That's why we see so many women who are burnt out. We see mothers who are exhausted. I never have any time. Like, I just can't. Like, they're waiting for all the stars to align to be able to finally take care of themselves. So I give them the tools and the beliefs to start empowering themselves and taking care of themselves, like right now in the chaos, right?
And are you specifically focused just on women?
Yes.
Is there any reason?
Because I feel like I am deeply connected to women, and really my ultimate purpose is to be able to create like a legacy of heart-centered women who are empowered in their own healing, who live their lives and lead their life with their heart. So that's ultimately what I want, because I truly believe that women are at the source of the world healing. Because right now,
women are the nurturers of the world.
Yeah, that's right. Love. Right now, what we need is love and acceptance and nurturing, because we have so much ego in the world right now. And, even just my own healing and me being connected to the love inside of me and my heart greatly impacts you sitting here, like my energy feeding off of that, my children, my parents,
Absolutely.
my partner, if I had a partner, you know what I mean? My friends, like I watch it ripple into their children, into how they parent, into how they lead their careers, into their jobs, everything. So it becomes a bigger picture. And that's really like the ultimate, like that's what my soul's purpose is, right? Is to help women come back to their hearts, come back to their bodies, so we can heal again as a collective, right?
Absolutely.
Because when women are like connected to their hearts and they're leading with love in everything they do, men feed off of that inspiration and they come back to being in their purpose, right? Absolutely. So men need that muse and inspiration in order to show up and to do the things that, I don't believe women are meant to be doing all the time. I believe women are meant to simply just be.
I think everybody's meant to be.
Yeah. So that's like ultimately that's like the big vision of my business, of helping women. They come to me thinking it's about weight. Most of them come to me thinking it's about their bodies, about weight. But really what it is that is just a symptom of being completely disconnected from themselves. So we come back to connection, we create heart-centered self-awareness, and we start allowing them to be empowered in their own fitness and their own health, and being able to guide themselves through all of life's battles that throw at us, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, women are a different species.
They are. Yeah.
I mean, no, they're not a different species. They're just a complementary species of the men.
Yeah. So women lead with their emotions, right? So I truly believe that being able to be connected to our hearts and our souls allows us to just lead a more authentic life. And when we are leading with authenticity, we become more at peace, we are more grounded. And I truly believe that anything like depression, weight gain, anxiety, all of these issues, chronic diseases, illnesses, comes from a lack of connection and a lack of being able to manage their time, their stress, their health, all of that stuff, right? So when we come back to the body and we come back to our hearts and we come back to our minds, we are able to shift internally, right? Because your inner reality is your outer reality, right? So if you believe all these things about yourself, that you're going to fail, about you are your anxiety, you are your depression, you are these things, right?
What you tell yourself, you become.
Yeah, how you identify, right? So we really work on rewiring their thoughts and their beliefs about themselves. We bring them back to their bodies again. We create connection, we create self-awareness, and from there, like, things just start to flow. We actually take the focus off their desired result and we bring it back to them.
Eliminate the expectations.
Yeah.
And start accepting.
Yes, exactly, right? Because ultimately the goal...
acceptance doesn't disappoint you.
That's right.
Expectations do.
Yes, right? Yes. And I truly believe, like I was actually just talking about this on my social media, that like expectations are the root of our suffering, right? So I like to get my clients to create standards about themselves, right? So instead of creating expectations, we create standards and we let go of how we show up and just show up, right? So that's really powerful. So it's just about showing up rather than how we show up. So it doesn't matter what that looks like. This is the time you are going to spend like 30 minutes every morning for yourself, no matter what that looks like doesn't matter, right? Because if we hold that expectation of every morning 30 minutes, I have to crush this workout and that means I'm succeeding, and you are a mom and you have a newborn baby and for some reason she wakes up early or something happens, right? You're not going to be able to meet that expectation and you're automatically going to be like, well, this is hard. This isn't fucking for me. I can't do this. See, this is why I don't do this, right? And then the self-critical thoughts start to spiral, right? So you can already see how important it is to be able to have the self-awareness to go, whoa, okay, these thoughts are not actually true. How do I want to think and believe about myself? And how do I want to show up for myself in that moment? So that could be maybe like we're going to do a messy workout for 30 minutes with my baby lying on the floor. Or maybe that means I'm going to be able to shift that and do something else, right? So it's really about just learning to navigate those stresses and being able to show up, right? So again, in the like I always say, right, we want to show up with the standard and the integrity of your self-worth, right? So I think that has like a much more loving essence than
absolutely,
you know, like I feel like
it grows better.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I really let go of like when my clients want to take action, we want to come back to our hearts. We want to come back to love, right? So when we hold standards and integrity with our self-worth, we're taking action from a place of love versus like something is wrong with me, right? So again, coming back to acceptance, right? So if I can love and believe I am worthy right now of like wearing that bikini and going on the beach or whatever the case may be, then I'm going to show up a lot more powerfully for myself, right? So it's like, it's again coming from a place of love versus something's wrong with me. Exactly. And in order to be able to feel that love, we have to create self-awareness and we have to build connection and come back to the body. So it's all like,
it's all interconnected.
It's just like a giant web. Sorry.
I think that might have been me actually.
It's just like a giant web, right? It all comes back. Like we can take every problem that you're having with weight loss, fitness, your life, your job, your partnership, your kids, and it really comes back to a lack of connection and a lack of self-awareness and letting our egos down. Because more times than not, the problem you're having with your weight, with your fitness, and even with your partner, right? So it's it becomes more than just about weight loss. Has to do with what is going on inside of you, right? Absolutely. Because we tend to project a lot. And if we're able to create heart-centered self-awareness, then we're able to come back to love, and we can lead with love in our discussions with our partner. Absolutely. And how we parent our children and how we lead our career, like it's all like purity, of it.
Kind of like it cleans out. You have to clean out your thoughts. And restart how you kind of configure your mind, right? Yeah, I'm
literally how I work with my clients is completely changing how they identify with themselves, how they believe, what they believe about themselves, how they think about themselves. And then we also work on like,
what about wording? Do you use specific wording for, because I think words are so powerful.
I believe words are our life source.
Yeah, absolutely. I think words are extremely powerful.
Yeah. So our words literally, project out how we're going to act, project our reality, how we think and feel about ourselves, the people we choose to be in our lives, like everything, right? So when women come to me, some of them are open to receive that kind of spirituality, but more times than not, I'm leading them to that place of understanding how powerful they really fucking are, and how much strength and intuition they do have in them, and how much knowledge they do have, right? So then from there, we really work on their vocabulary and how they speak. So it's a process, right? It's getting them to even just simply being still with themselves. Sometimes that in itself is a challenge for someone who has never really stopped.
So for someone to teach this kind of thing,
yes,
you have to. There's obviously some experiences that brought you to these points.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize that you saw the contrast in this life? Like, if you know, do you know what I mean?
Like, what was my enlightenment moment?
Yeah, what was exactly? Exactly.
So I feel like I've always had this essence of spirituality about me. Like in my 20s, I really, I loved yoga. I loved meditating, but it was very surface level. It was just like, okay, this feels good, right? So my body knew that it felt good at that time. And then after I had my son, I was in an extremely low place. I had put on a lot of weight during my pregnancy, but a lot of the issues I was experiencing after my son were already there in my 20s, right? But I just looked better on the outside.
Yeah.
But the confidence, the anxiety, the low self-esteem, all of that was just there. It was just amplified after I had my son, because I had this purpose bigger than me in front of me now. Like when I had my son and I held him for the first time, and the love that I felt for him, it opened up my heart in ways that I never even thought possible. And I started to look at myself and go like, I can't fucking be like this. I don't want to be angry, reactive, anxious, depressed, yelling, crying all the time, partying, numbing myself, drinking wine every night. You name it, I did it. Right. And I didn't want to feel and experience that anymore. So I hired my first coach. I didn't even know what coaching was. I've heard of personal trainers, gyms, like I used to go to Good Life, all of that stuff, but I didn't even know coaching was a thing, let alone online virtual coaching. I didn't even know mindset was a thing at that point, you know.
How old were you?
I would have been 28.
Okay.
When I really opened myself up to that. And then I worked with my coach, Danielle Rubin, at that time.
It's addictive.
Yeah, and I did her program, like basically kind of similarly like what I'm doing now with women. And I did her online program. It integrated like mindset, exercise, nutrition, right? And it completely changed my life. Meeting Danielle was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And she actually inspired me and pushed me to open my own business and to become a coach, because maybe, I guess she saw that light in me, the same light that I see in my clients, right? And then I feel like the rest is history from there. But when I really got into my spirituality was actually after I launched my business. And this is just interesting how the universe works. And that's why I truly believe there's something higher than us out there, because
Absolutely.
I got put in the path of now my spiritual mentor and coach, Julie, and I got put in her path, and it was for like a fundraiser. It was like an auctioning. So I won it, and I did our one-on-one session, and it completely changed my life. I probably never cried so much in my life, and it just like opened up so much of my own shadows that I needed to work on and heal. And I knew I had to work with her and keep working with her. So I hired her for 6 months of work. And yeah, that's when I really dived into my spiritual journey, working with energetics, working with heart work. You know, I hired her to help me within my business because I knew that business was more than just strategy. Just like I knew weight loss and fitness is more than just strategy. There's so much about the energetics behind it. I actually believe that, you know, fitness business is like 80% energy and like 20% strategy, right? If your mind and your heart and your body is not fully in it, believing it, then your strategy is just going to fall through the window, right? Again, it's the same concept that I apply with my clients, right? If going to the gym 5 times a week and eating super clean 100% of the time is not in alignment with your resources in your life, it's going to quickly crumble, right? So,
yes, absolutely.
So again, creating that self-awareness, right? Like everything is integrated. So, and that's really how I dive deeper into it. And then through our work together, I got offered a mentorship under her. So I've been, I guess, shadowing her for the last year, and I'll be doing her Heart Speak program. So I'm really diving deep into the energetics and heart work when it comes to helping women heal. And healing is more than just about, again,
looking good, and
all that stuff,
so
that's
having
kind of
Instagram, Instagram worthy pictures,
it's about like, I really like, there's so much like mindset, energy work, like we're seeing it everywhere, and I think it's really important to be able to work with someone who's like walking the walk, right? And everything that I give my clients is what I have experienced deeply within myself, right?
The best way to grow is in your freshest experiences. Yeah. And as you continue to grow with your experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to keep leading away.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a journey.
It is, right? And I hold the vision for my purpose, for my business so deeply that I can also get really, really excited and kind of not allow all of that to integrate, right? So right now I'm in this like deep integration phase of my rebranding, of my spirituality. I've gone through probably one of the toughest years of my life, but it's all allowing me to just support.
Pain, you cannot grow.
That's right. So, and I had my car accident this year in February, and my separation, and I really found God through all of that, and also deepened my spirituality. Like it really opened me up so much, because I was forced to really literally be with myself because of my concussion. So for 2 whole months, I probably meditated and was with myself more than I ever was in my life. I was literally, it felt like God just like forced me to put me in a room and face all my shadows. Like, here's what you need to do in order to step into the leadership role that I desire you to be, to help women, right? And in turn, help women heal and help the world heal. Like, that is truly what I feel like I am here for. And most women come to me thinking it is about their bodies, it is about weight, but I bring them back to their hearts, and I bring them back to that awareness within their bodies. And from there, their entire life changes. Like when I say they're a completely different woman, when they're finished working with me, they are a completely different woman. So, yeah.
I'm really glad you said that. I'm curious to know, what's your, being a spiritual person, I think I have a lot of the things that you're saying. I think I've those are experiences that people have to go through, and
on their own.
And when they go through, that's when they really understand something else.
Yeah, it's not enough for me to just say it.
No, exactly.
For you to say it, they have to feel it.
It has to happen to you.
Yeah,
it has to happen to you. And when it does, you have to understand that you're blessed in that sense.
Yeah.
There's something that communicated with you on a different level, and I think honestly, a big problem in Western society is that nobody ever has time alone. No one ever sits down by themselves. They're always distracted. Kids are waking up they're being born into iPads. Like I can't see a time where they're ever gonna self-reflect, where they're ever gonna think beyond their own thought. Yeah.
Or by the thoughts that are given to them rather than their own thoughts. They're not even thinking their own thoughts.
You gotta remember too, the reality is created as soon as you're born.
That's right.
If they're actually, this is the whole point of my podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
whole point of the work that I do with my clients. Literally.
I'm just gonna. So my actual purpose of this podcast, I swear, the reason why I started this is because, similar to what you were saying, I feel like there's a purpose that I need to feed.
Yeah.
And it's a preservation of thought, and I really believe that our thought processes are going into a very dangerous direction.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm inviting people like you is because I know I can see what's happening to you, and it's something that I'm able to realize. It's something that happened to me at a very young age, and I've always lived my life in that sense. So when I see it happening, I can point it out, and just through what you're saying. And so I'm curious to know, what is your definition of God? This is not like this is no religious channel.
Absolutely not.
I'm just curious to know, because there's a misconception.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there's a misconception in the whole idea
of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree. My God is someone who is a higher power than me. So for me, God is someone who guides me, who supports me, and who speaks to me. I truly believe how I work with my clients and the messages I receive are from God. Now, God is not I'm not like, I've never read the Bible. You know what I mean? Yeah. I used to go to church when I was young, but God is not a typical God for me. God is just someone that is higher than me.
God is inside of you, I believe.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. So he is a source, he is a higher power, but he lives and breathes through me. Mm-hmm. So everything I do for him or her, whatever you want to.
I believe God. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Is this idea that it's a he or a she, yeah. Or it's
I like to say
I've traveled quite a bit, and I remember seeing that you travel too, and yes. I think traveling is amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing for the soul. It's amazing for understanding such a deeper understanding of life.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that what you're saying is exactly what I truly believe nobody gets to, mm-hmm. and to get there is a gift. Yeah. It's a real gift. And I think you have to experience something in life to get there. Absolutely. Because our way of life is so distracted. Absolutely. that we never really tune into ourselves. But that being said, you have to look around and see what's around us. We don't own anything. Humans didn't create this place. We just live here, just like everything else that lives here. So I think when you understand where you presently are in this world, you begin to understand that you're only here for a certain amount of time. The only thing that we're guaranteed is death. Yeah. Nothing else. Yeah. That's the only thing that's inevitable. Everything else, this is not going to come with me. Yeah. I may have a message that can stay online.
Yes, we're so attached.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope I can pass down. Mm-hmm. But this is not going to come with me, right? Yeah. So, but in that, once you get past this rat race, or even if you don't get past this rat race, you got to figure out.
Once you get out of your ego, yeah, right? And back to your heart.
Exactly.
Because I agree with you.
It's a status quo, I believe, too, that everybody's scared to step out of.
Yeah, because God is always in you. God is the love that is inside of you. Absolutely. God is your heart, right? Everything is God.
Everything is God.
Yes. Exactly. Nature, everything that you see that is light is God. And even the darkness, there is light because that is God shining through. So
even we can even go as far as to say, everything that we have right here
is God.
Is a creation of man.
Money is God. Everything is energy and power. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think it's all here to test you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all here to test you. And I really believe that in what you're doing, in realizing that the way that you're serving your community now, it's realizing that if you can serve for the better, then you're doing your best in how you can create a difference in the world. Yeah. And that is where your creativity, that is where everything flows. Everything about you really comes out. You start to be, mm-hmm. and you're not giving yourself a title to say, oh, I'm an accountant, or
I'm a healer,
I'm whoever,
or whatever.
Yeah, I'm who I am, and that is.
Like, I don't believe I heal my clients, right?
No.
You'll hear a lot about that with coaches.
You can only guide them.
I help. I do this. This is what I do. I'm a healer. I heal women. All of these things. Mm-hmm. I don't do that. I believe that if you want to call it source, you want to call it God, you want to call it higher power,
whatever you want to call it, really.
That flows through me to my clients. And I truly, truly believe that. And I think that a big moment for me is when I was having a one-on-one coaching call with one of my clients, and she was speaking. She went and got a reading done from a psychic. And literally everything that psychic had said to her was word for word everything I had said to her on a previous phone call, to the point where she had gotten complete chills. And when she reached out to me after her reading, and she said, Sondra, you'll never believe what this lady said to me. And she told me everything, and I had chills all over my body. And in that moment, I knew that it was not me that is healing my clients. It is not me that is receiving messages for my clients to help them. It is God moving that through me, and that higher energy and that higher power. And then I'm just a facilitator. I am literally just a thing that holds the energy, that holds those gifts to be able to help these women. That's what I believe, right? It doesn't come from me. And the moment that I was able to let that part of really essentially my ego down was the moment that I was allowed to simply be, which is what you're talking about, right? And it's such a powerful, it's such a powerful place to be, to just be completely detached from any sort of outcome, right? From any sort of relationship to your things, expectations, all of that, right? And that's why I say standards, right? Because we all have standards. We all judge, right? Whether we want to admit it or not, right? I'm judging the shirt I'm wearing and holding a standard to the clothes that I'm wearing. But when we create standards versus expectations, again, it's coming from a place of worthiness and love and that connection to your heart, and in turn that connection to God, right? So when we step up to those standards, it's so much more powerful than coming from a place of the ego, which is like, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm too fat, I don't look good enough, I'm not good enough, why do I feel like this, right? That is the ego talking, right?
It's everybody else talking.
Yeah. A lot of societal conditioning, parents, schools, teachers, everything, right? Because the truth is, right? Yes, mindset is great. Yes, being able to show up to your workouts are great. Yes, being able to take care of yourself is great. But if you don't truly believe and feel that what you need to do is your truth, then it's just all surface level, right? Because all 10% of our mind is only conscious level. And that means 90% of everything we do is subconscious. So you're constantly on autopilot. And if you're not able to create that type of heart-centered awareness and be able to connect to your subconscious and be able to see all of that, everything is going to be surface level. You're not actually transforming.
You're constantly loop.
It's just aesthetics. So really the ultimate goal of Sondra Gatien Wellness Coaching, and as we rebrand into Heart-Led Health and Fitness, is shifting the entire motive around weight loss for women. And getting them to understand that it comes internally, right? And that we want you to become that woman, right? And then the weight literally just falls off naturally. Like when I say that, I'm not saying it because it sounds it's because nice.
You see yourself.
You
see yourself.
Because
and everything else just kind of, it becomes easy actually.
Yeah, exactly. You said it right. You finally see yourself, right? And women are literally in like this perpetual state of like tension, anxiety. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy enough. Expectations. Everything is integrated, right? So it's just like, and when our bodies are in that type of tension and we're in that type of stress, well, our hormones are going to be all over the place, right? And it's going to be hard for you to sleep good, to not get headaches, to feel good, to have energy, to lose the weight, to, let go of that chronic pain, whatever it is that you are experiencing that's preventing you from like living your best life. It's going to be really fucking hard to do that, right?
But there's also a lot of, it's also being aware of what is also holding you back.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I think comfort zones are so dangerous. Yeah. And comfort zones will always keep you looping if you have an excuse to be there.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't even realize what their comfort zone is.
Yeah.
And that could be a problem too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that you're bringing that up because, through the awareness that we create with my clients and bringing them back to their bodies and their hearts, right? They're able to see those self-sabotaging patterns, those comfort zones, and they're able to empower themselves to step out of that comfort zone. Sometimes that could simply be going to the gym. Right? Like I've received multiple messages in the last couple of weeks from my clients where they're like, Sondra, I went to the gym. There was a bunch of sexy men around there and I fucking did it and I felt amazing and I was confident.
That motivates you.
And that's a huge thing to come to a place where you can show up for yourself and not give a fuck what anybody else thinks. Right? So that is stepping out of your comfort zone. So again, being able to step out of your comfort zone requires you to come back to yourself, to let your ego down, to release the conditioning, right? And to be able to call yourself out, right? To be radically honest with yourself is so fucking powerful. And then be able to lead with love with that radical honesty. That's the game changer. And that's what I want for every woman that works for me and really all of humanity. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. You hope that for all of humanity.
I hope that.
Yeah, when it's exciting. It's exciting when you see the change and you know that what you can pass on. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. But there's some people that will never care.
Yeah.
And you just have to accept that.
But we need those people.
Exactly, it's a balance.
We need those people.
Absolutely, it's a balance
because those people shine the light.
Yeah,
right? You just like I needed all of my darkness and all of my struggle in order to be the woman that I am, right? Mm-hmm. But also being able to come to that place of acceptance is healing in itself. So really changing that whole paradigm of weight loss and healing, like that's my ultimate goal, and that's what I'm working with my mentor as well. Having her pass down that legacy to me is something that I am so grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely. It changes your life.
Yeah, because ultimately we come to a place of acceptance. We create heart-centered self-awareness, and we learn to hold both the fear and love together, right? Because if we can do that, then you can fucking do anything, right? Then you can step outside of that comfort zone no matter what. Right?
Exactly.
Like I've been on one podcast before. This is like the second time I've been on a podcast
Nice.
And the first time it was on Zoom. This is totally out of my comfort zone.
Nice. Is this whole thing new for you?
Yeah, this whole experience right now is the first time I've ever doing this,
nice.
Right?
Awesome. Look at that. Look at that. What else would you be doing?
What else would I be
Sitting
doing?
in an office?
Absolutely not. I don't sit in an office anymore. Fuck that shit. I
But
create my life.
Exactly. There you go.
I'd probably be working at home on a client call, sitting outside by my pool, which also sounds fabulous.
Yeah, that's
guys.
amazing. That's amazing.
But I'm also really happy to be here. But
Yeah.
like my point is like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and I wouldn't be able to do this if I wasn't aware of those sabotaging thoughts. So again, right, you're talking about thought work and beliefs in your belief system, right? So we take that, which is mindset, we take that and we just deepen it even more, right? So being able to see your thoughts that are sabotaging you, that are preventing you from stepping outside of your comfort zone, and then being able to take that,
retweak them,
retweak them, but bring you back to connection and bring you back to your heart and turning towards that love, turning towards your truth, right? And being able to empower yourself in the thoughts that you desire to believe to be true of what you want. And then that's how you show up at a podcast that you've never done before, or you go to the gym for the first time when you've been insecure, right? So, some of the most powerful wins and transformations are things that we don't see, but we feel,
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I love it.
But I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about psychedelics?
Like microdosing?
Just in general.
I think psychedelics are great because I think it allows you to literally let go of your ego and your mind, and literally brings you back to your body and allows you to be free. So, I mean, there's extremes of anything. But I'm for it. You
ever heard of DMT? You ever tried DMT?
I have not. I've heard of it. It's so interesting. I'm telling you, I love the way the universe works, because it's like you're like the 8th person to bring this up to me in the last few weeks. It's like also me shifting into like different platforms. It's interesting. And then it's like, someone's talking about TikTok for me for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, okay, God, I hear you. You want me on TikTok, right? And now you're bringing
TikTok.
up, now you're bringing up DMT again and psychedelics. And I actually have just started, microdosing. So LSD. Okay. So I've been microdosing with LSD just for like a week now. So it's interesting that you're bringing this up, but I am super open.
Yeah. Have you ever tried mushrooms?
Yes. Love mushrooms. I don't go crazy or anything. No. I'm like a small dose kind of girl. Yeah. For me, it just, it allows that creativity to flow and for you to be completely free. And I think it's healing in itself. Yeah. Now, I don't know much about DMT, or there's is it ashwagandha? Am I saying that right?
Ashwagandha. I think it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I think it's similar. Yeah.
But I think, weed, mushrooms, LSD, any psychedelics, anything like that, I think I'm all for it. Yeah? Like I'm an advocate for it 100%, because like there's just the lack of, there's just not as many side effects, right? So I think if you're able
if you're able to grow it naturally without having to process anything, I think it's fair to say that it could be a medication.
Absolutely. It is a medication.
It is medication.
It is.
It is. Why would they offer that when they
can sell all these pills? Right now.
Why would they offer that when they could sell all these over the counter medications?
Because they know how much
you can
it
grow
works. Yeah, because we would be self-sourced, exactly. We'd be self-sufficient. We wouldn't need big pharma, right? And big pharma just wants to keep us sick, right? Yeah. So this stuff isn't going to keep us sick. This is actually going to heal you, and we can actually, again, right?
Back in the day, they actually these were common things that were used. These were common practices for medicine.
Yeah.
Mushrooms was actually used for depression.
Yeah.
And for a lot of other reasons, actually, for a lot of like deep depression. Yeah. And it got people out of serious depressions.
Yeah.
But all this stuff was used. This is all traditional medicine, you know.
Yeah, and I'm all for it. Yeah. I think we're going to be heading into that direction.
We're already there. It's already happening. It's already started. I already know. I've already invested in a company where they're doing.
Did you really?
Yeah, they're investing in. It's doctors.
Good for you. I'll let you know how I'm feeling in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because good. I'm microdosing right now, so I'm just starting.
Yeah.
So I've literally been doing it for a week. I definitely see myself more focused and like.
Really, eh?
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm hoping, for me, it's about just keeping myself a little more grounded and allowing that creativity to flow and just being more focused.
How did you prescribe this thing? How did this start?
Actually, someone that I've been kind of dating, sort of. Yeah. He actually suggested it to me because he's like, my brain is like a fucking hamster wheel. Mm-hmm. Like I'm always flowing with ideas. I'm super creative, and I love creating. I love writing. Yeah. But I can, even though, right, this is what I'm saying, right? So I experience exactly what my clients experience, right? So even though I am a coach and I help these women do that and create self-awareness, I experience overwhelm and anxiety all the time, right? Yeah. That's what makes me an incredible coach. I truly believe that, right? So yeah, so he just told me, he's like, you need to chill out a little bit. You need to try this. Just trust me. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. You know, like I smoke weed. I was like, I'm going to try this out and see how this goes. So I'll let you know in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I it's more common than people may realize.
Yeah. So I'm so excited that we're talking about this because also stepping into my new brand too and into who I am is also just expressing myself more authentically. And I think there's parts of me that I haven't been showing a lot through my marketing and through my brand. So I'm excited.
Trying to keep a professional image.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? Like, but there's that
We're talking
box.
About ego, we're talking
there's
about
that conditioning,
stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, brand yourself properly, but
I think what makes me is fucking me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's like, wait a minute, where am I going with that sentence? No, absolutely. But what makes me is fucking me, right? Mm. And there's women out here that experience everything that I've experienced in my life who also want to feel and be what they see me as, right? Yeah. That's why they come to me. They are literally a reflection of who I was, all my clients were, right? So if I'm not expressing myself authentically, then I'm actually doing a fucking disservice because now I'm projecting this conditioning and image that women need to fit in this box in order to be healthy, in order to, be in fitness and lose weight. And that's just fucking bullshit because I am not like your typical, I don't have a 6-pack abs. I don't eat broccoli and boiled chicken and rice every single day, 6-7 days a week. Like I'm here for that, right? Like there are seasons and times for everything, right? But women have this like deep, dark conditioning that they need to look and be a certain way in order to stick with that lifestyle. And I really want to break the walls down of that, right? I want them to see that they can fucking go party and have fun and still show up for themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They can enjoy life and all of those experiences and still be healthy and still be empowered and still be in control. So I'm excited to just like...
Yeah, it's like breaking down the barriers.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first time I'm really talking about, like psychedelics and the LSD and marijuana and all of that stuff. Like I know like a lot of my girls and the people I hang out with in my life, they know me. I express myself authentically, but within my brand and my business, it's not something that I talk about a lot. And what made me really see that is like this guy that I'm kind of dating, right? He literally thought I was like this goody girl, right? And I showed up on our first date with like a joint, and I was like, okay, are we gonna smoke this or what?
Nice. I was gonna roll one. I wasn't sure if we had to smoke
let's fucking do
it.
Yeah,
okay, let's do it. Yeah,
let's do it. The flow will go better.
Yeah, perfect. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
It's okay. We'll cut this.
Oh, I'm not worried. I love it. Oh, that's exactly why. Oh, let's just pop some mushrooms right now and have a great old fucking time. No. Here, go for it. Let's see your own stuff. All right. So anyway, so when he reached out to me and not reached out to me, but when we were talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm like fucking shocked that you're like this. Like he was really, it's just like super awkward. Like I'm going to get the mic in my boot. But I can roll a good fucking thing. But so, and when he's like, he was shocked. I was like, and that, I don't know, it kind of just hit me because I was talking about like really stepping into my fully expressed self with one of my coaches. And when he said that to me, I was like, man, I'm not really showing who I really am. Like, and I'm not saying like weed in itself or like mushrooms or psychedelics has nothing to do specifically with my business, but it's about, okay, but why am I not showing these parts of me? Is there shame around that? Exactly. Do I feel like I'm not worthy enough because I do this to be a coach?
Why is it that you do it?
Why do I smoke weed? Sorry?
Yeah, why is it that like
I've smoked weed since
I know. I think you've smoked weed since I've known you.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Before the shit was like even a thing.
Exactly.
No, yeah, for sure.
So
but no, I smoke too. Like I have not like I never smoked like the way I do now, but lately I smoke.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yeah. So why do I smoke weed?
Yeah, why?
Weed is my muse. I actually feel, which is going to be really weird for some people to hear, but I actually find it helps me connect to God more. It helps me write more. It helps me flow more. It opens my heart and like a part of me that I can't explain. It helps me sleep better too. But for me, it's a source of muse, a big source of muse and a huge connection to God for me. It helps me come back to my body, right? Because I can be a lot in my head. Even though I have all these tools and practices, that's exactly why I have all these tools and practices. That's exactly why I'm in the position that I am and I'm coaching women the way I coach women, because I live and breathe it every fucking day, right? And I think that's also something that separates me a lot from others, because there are a lot of coaches out there, but it's easy for them, right? Like showing up the way they show up is easy for them. It's never been a struggle, right? Like, and the women that come to me, they struggle within their minds and their bodies, right? And I truly believe you need to be mentoring or coached under someone who, one, is exactly where you want to be, and two, who has experienced everything you fucking experienced, right? So yeah, we were talking about why I smoke weed. So like I smoke weed because it's a muse for me and it allows me to come back even deeper into my body. It opens
up your creativity.
Oh, it opens up like so much flow. I feel like it like opens like my third eye like right fucking up. So yeah, and even like sexually too.
Yeah, like
I find it allows me to be more connected in my body because, again, right, like pleasure is a huge thing too that I've been allowing myself to receive more because, again, I think women, we're so disconnected from our hearts and bodies that we're not allowing ourselves to receive the joy and pleasures of life, right? So weed allows me to come back to my body and, you know, when we're talking about like sexual experiences, it allows me to be super present and in my body and super free. And I'm telling you, sometimes I have like some of the best sex of my life after I've smoked a joint. Sure. So like, so there's so many ways that I use marijuana, but it's not something I need, which is really freeing for me. Yeah. Right. So it just comes back from a place again of accepting myself because I held so much shame around that. Right. Mm-hmm. So much shame around smoking, drinking, all of these things. And then I'm like, I'm not showing these parts of me. It's not like, okay, like here's weed, this is going to help you. But it's the point of like, if I'm not expressing these parts of me, what I'm telling other women is that they should hold shame and they should not love themselves for those parts of them too, right? And again, it's about like, I don't fit in this box, right? But I show up fucking fucking 4 times a week for my fitness, and I eat like a fucking boss, and I meditate, and I love God, and I'm spiritual.
What's your schedule
like?
What's your schedule like?
Like my fitness schedule,
no,
or
just like
in general?
Your day-to-day schedule.
My day-to-day schedule is, I used to be actually really like strict. I'd wake up at 5 every morning.
Nice.
This is how I have to show up. But now I'm in this place of like, I sleep in.
Yeah.
And when I wake up, I wake up.
Yeah.
And I flow, and it's easy, but it's coming from a place of like, I'm enough. Like this feels
You're just
good.
an essence.
Yeah, I'm just
an
like
essence in the world.
I'm just flowing. So all of these tools where it's like I had to build these habits, right? I had to build these routines. Now they are a part of me, right? So now I get to flow and
I don't know if this thing's gonna go off, but
well, we're gonna find out, eh? So we're gonna flow, and now I can flow and integrate all of those things into my life in alignment with feels good to me, because I trust myself and how I show up. So I'm not worried that I'm not going to do all these things and keep my routines and habits. So really my day is like, my morning is super flowing. Like I wake up, I have my coffee, I chill. I'm actually super productive as soon as I wake up. So I actually start work like almost right away. I'm like messaging clients, I'm going on, I'm doing my marketing, I'm doing my thing. Whereas before I would like work against like my natural inner rhythm, right? Because it comes from a place of expectations of like, this is how I should be showing up. I need to fucking wake up at 5 a.m. and crush a workout and do my journaling and all these things. And yes, these are habits and routines that I get my clients to do, right? But we need to build
I think discipline is very important.
Yeah, we need to build a foundation, right? You say a lot of people, right? We were talking about how no one is still. Well, we need to build a foundation for you to create that stillness, to create that connection, so you can build an aligned strategy for you. Like that is so empowering, right? But we need to start somewhere, right? So just taking and holding time for yourself, right, in the morning, that is the first step, right? So building those habits, and then you get to create what that looks like going forward for yourself. So that's so powerful. So right now I train 4 or 5 times a week, about an hour to an hour and a half. And I just want to clarify, it's not necessary to train this much to get results, but this is like 7-8 years of my journey that I've been able to come to a place where I can train like that, and I love it.
You've been training for a long time?
Yes. Like if I could spend like my
What did you do before this?
So before I launched my business, I was a full-time admin assistant.
Take a puff of that thing. Let's get you on the part here.
Shut the fuck up and take a puff. Okay. Yeah. So before I opened my own business, I was a full-time admin assistant after I had my son, because I felt like I needed to get that job, right? I wanted the benefits, the pension. I wanted 9 to 5, good hours. This is the should. This is the expectations. This is the fucking societal conditioning. This is the box. Again, we're just going to keep coming back to the same place because it's all the fucking same shit.
Yeah, we're there. Let's talk about the next step now.
Yeah.
We've realized our reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's getting everybody to understand the other side of the reality. So
So before that,
sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm fucking high already.
That's all good, man. I love it. I love the organic flow. Like cut me off, and then I'll cut you off, and we're just gonna go. Cool. Like that's how I roll. So I'm always cutting people off. I'm an intense person, so
you're excited.
Yes. I'm super passionate about it. So before I had my son, I bartended for about 8 years. I remember seeing
you around.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maddie, your brother, used to bounce at Lone Star, and then Louis, so we'll talk about them here. Just bring him in, fuck him. So I bartended for about 8-10 years. I lived that party lifestyle really, really fucking hard. I did drugs. I smoked way, like, an excessive amount of weed. Weed then for me was a numbing thing, rather than something that was healing and supportive of my health and my journey. So I really think it's important to clarify that, right? Like too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, right? And we can go from being obsessed with fitness and eating super healthy and your macros and all these things to like, you know, smoking so much weed that you're just completely numbing, right? And drinking and all of these things, right? So I think it's really important to clarify that right now. It's about the intention and the energy you are holding behind whatever it is you're doing. So
intention is everything.
Yeah. So I think that's really, really important. But yeah, so I bartended, partied way too hard. I just lived that typical bartender lifestyle. And then I had my son, and I wanted, again, like, like that box, right? I felt like this is what I should be doing. I should be having a 9-to-5 job. So that's what I did. And then COVID happened. And then I got COVID. Like, this was back when it first started in 2020. And I was off for like 3 weeks working from home, and I was experiencing a bit of harassment from my employer at that time, and had to go on stress leave. So I actually had like a mental breakdown and had to go on stress leave. And I was actually prescribed like anti-anxiety meds, but I knew I needed it.
Remember?
It wasn't like a downer. It was like more of an upper. I'm trying to remember.
It's okay.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we don't even have to go there. That's a bit much.
No,
it's totally fine. I'm just curious to know what they were giving you, just so you like. But it's totally fine. Don't even worry about it.
It like made me like.
Was it like Adderall or Dextrin?
No, it wasn't Adderall.
Not Ritalin or anything like that, right?
No. This was like.
Vyvanse?
Yeah, because I didn't want a downer, because I didn't want to like numb myself and lose my creativity. I literally, like, this is how I started my business. I'm okay, thank you. I literally went on stress leave as I was speaking to my current coach, Danielle Rubin, at that time. And
what kind of coach?
She was my fitness and mindset coach. So I continued working with her after I had finished her original program for quite a bit, because I just, like, I'm an avid, person with coachings. I think everybody should have a fucking coach, whether that's for your business, whether that's for your life, whether that's for your fitness, whether that's for your spirituality. I believe everyone should have a coach.
My first coach was Falsetto, and I was with him yesterday, by the way.
No way. Yeah. So cool.
I see him all the time.
Love that. That's okay. So, anyway, so I went on stress leave. I went on anti-anxiety meds, and I remember talking to Danielle, and I was literally bawling my eyes out, and she was like, you can do this, Sondra, right? And it's so powerful to have someone believe in us, because if it wasn't for her, because every other person in my life was the box. Yeah. Well, how are you going to keep getting clients? How are you going to do this? Like, so much like thoughts and beliefs from lack, right? And scarcity and fear, right? Like, there was so much fear being thrown at me. They project
their own beliefs on you. And then it makes you, and then it creates your own reality.
Absolutely. Yeah. So having her believe in me and be like, look, this is what I know you can do. Like, you can do this. Like, and she connected me to my current business coach, Nicole. And so, yeah, I had just hired Nicole, which was like a $5,000 investment on my business. And I was on stress leave. Her program was it 12 weeks? I want to say it was 12 weeks. She has a business marketing intensive program, which was absolutely fucking fantastic. Mm-hmm. I don't know where I would be without her. So I'm super grateful for her.
Good for you.
But I had invested in her, and then I got laid off from my job. Right. So when I was like, when I'm telling you, like, I've been
best thing that could have happened to you.
It was the best thing that it could have happened to me.
Because if not, you would have just been comfortable.
I would have just, one, been comfortable, two, not fully committed.
Exactly. You need to be 100%.
I would have been like, well, I still have this.
You'd have been 80-20.
Yeah.
20%.
And I was only going to do it part-time, and I was trying to figure out like how I'm going to do this in between my full-time job while taking care of my son. And keep in mind, I'm on stress leave. I just had a mental breakdown. I just got over COVID. And at that time, me and my partner had completely different beliefs on that system. So there was a lot of stress around me. And it was one of the lowest points of my life where I'm making one of the biggest decisions of my life. Yeah. Right. And that's like one of the first questions you asked me is like, where are your clients and these women, they come see you? That's literally the exact position that they are in, that I was in. And then I lost my job after making that investment. So I took that as a sign, and I said, fuck this. I'm going to be doing this full time. Yeah. This is what I'm doing, with no proof and no evidence that I would be successful with, I would say, 80% of the people in my life, and just instilling fear and their beliefs on me, and a very small percentage of people who were like, yes, you can fucking do this, right? So that's why it's so important that we, again, create that awareness and focus on our thoughts and focus on our belief system, because everything stems from there.
Absolutely.
Right? Our thoughts and our beliefs create our emotions, right? And that affects our actions, right? Which affects our results, right? So yeah, and then that's how I started my journey, and that's how I'm here. And ever since then, like, you know, God has led me to the path of meeting everyone I needed to meet in order for me to now be sitting here talking with you, right? So
exactly.
I don't know what the original question was, but
no, it was what were you doing before? But that was a great history.
Yeah.
That was a great history. I think that makes the story even that much better, you know. And I think explaining that is a huge value add.
Yeah,
for so many
I don't
reasons.
think I talk about
No, you don't.
in depth my story.
And I think that by itself is enough for people to be like, okay, I can relate to you in so many ways. Maybe you do actually. Maybe you can actually understand me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that is a connection that you can put out.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really going to draw people towards you. It's really being open in that sense, because that's a great story.
Yeah, thank you. And that's like a very small part of my story.
Yeah,
right?
But it could be the biggest part of your story.
Yeah. It is. That was like the line drawn in the sand.
Everybody wants to know the breakdown.
Yeah.
So they can see the breakthrough. You
Yeah.
know, what brought you to a breakthrough? You have to be. That's why I say, like, what experience do you go through? I don't think anybody really goes through those.
Yeah.
Until you really hit a low, then you're like, hey, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, and then my accident and my separation was that next one where God was like, okay.
Elevated you even higher.
Yeah, because how I was working with my clients and when I first lost my business came from, I believe, someone else's vision, right? But I mean, that's how we all start, right? We learn from other people's tools and ideas and beliefs, right? So where I was perfect at that time, right? I needed to take everything I learned from Danielle, everything I learned from my other mentors, right? Everything I was learning from Nicole at that time and build it from there. I had no idea what I was doing. Like literally no idea. I didn't even have my program built, right? Like this is how I'm going into it, right? So I was building it as I was going, working with my clients, like real time, right? So yeah, it's just crazy. Yep. And then my accident and then my separation was that next, like, okay, I feel like God really wants me to be someone that works through and for him to help women heal, to help humanity heal. Like, again, that's what I see my bigger purpose. But I wasn't being fully committed, right? Like to my spirituality and to my commitment to God and to my commitment to my growth and my business. Right. So when that happened, it forced me into a really dark place.
But it gave you purpose.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
Like, because when I had my accident, I had a very serious concussion and I literally had to stay in a dark room for 2 months. I couldn't even walk my dog. So again, this is also why the work I'm doing is so important, because if we cannot be physically active, if we cannot have these tools that make us successful and as women for when it comes to fitness, weight loss, and our health, right? We go back to my business, why I'm doing this, right? Then we just crumble, right? And then we go into that all or nothing mindset and they're failing and they say, fuck this. And they just go right back to all of what was causing them pain. They go back to their comfort zone, right? So in that moment, I was able to utilize all the tools that are kind of outside of the normal tools you think when it comes to weight loss and exercise and nutrition. And I was able to literally, like, that's all I had to do. That's all I could do was meditate and be in that dark room. And if I didn't have those tools, if I didn't have the ability to connect to my heart and soothe myself and bring myself back down to the truth and the belief and the thoughts that I wanted to hold in that moment, right? Which is that I am going to be okay. I don't even want to know where I would have been. Probably drinking and doing a bunch of cocaine and smoking cigarettes and like smoking weed for all the wrong reasons. And I don't even want to know, right? And you know, one of the things, like, a lot of my girlfriends would come to me and be like I don't even know how you're standing right now. So isn't that interesting, right? Like, society is imposing me to be in this miserable place. And I noticed that was a really distinct comment that kept coming up, actually, more than once. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, wow, that's so sad, right? It's like, okay, you go through a breakup, you go through all these hard times, and then we're conditioned to, like,
see you fall,
be in this hole, to fall, right? But yeah, so, and I believe that I was able to be in that place of faith and trust.
Those are the moments that either make or break you.
Yeah.
People either really
I was able to hold the fear and the love at the same time. Right?
You know what? And also too, I think it also depends on, you came from a state of something that you're going to get sick of eventually.
Yeah.
It's either you accept that for your life and then you really you go down a dark past. Yeah. Or you go down a dark hole, really.
Yeah.
But I think people have to you give that history of your life, but I think people have to go through those things. Yeah. I think that's exactly what teaches people about the experience of life. I think people who don't actually experience life never really understand it for what it is. You know what I mean? And so, and if you do, and it's great. I hope I'm not encouraging.
Yeah, maybe that's in alignment with what fucking feels
exactly.
good to you.
I'm not encouraging anybody to go do something stupid, but no, for real, it's actually what puts you on a whole other level of understanding. Yeah, it gives you actually see the yin and the yang in life. Yeah, because it's easy to see the yin. It's not, it's not always not everybody sees the dark. Yeah, and then but when you see both, you get to understand.
It's being able to hold the dark.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can I love myself and accept myself when I'm in this amount of pain and I hate myself? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I do both? Yeah. Like, can I hold both, right? Because if we can love and accept ourselves, right, then we're actually saying there's nothing wrong with us. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the new paradigm in healing. That is what I'm working with my mentors. It's coming to this place is there's nothing wrong with any of us. Right? If we can come to this place of acceptance, right, then we come to a place of love, and then that is healing in itself, right? And then we show up in alignment and authenticity and how we want to feel and be about ourselves. And that is a really fucking powerful place to be, right? And I'm not perfect. Like, I'm continuously going through the waves of the darkness and the light, but that is exactly what I need to do in order to be. And I'm going to. It's going to be constant,
right? Your whole life.
And that's it, right? So it's about, okay, let's be real.
Being aware. Yeah. Now you're aware. You could see. And
that's it.
Yeah. And as it goes on, you're just going to keep seeing clearer and clearer and clearer. And everything around you is going to start kind of looking.
Yeah. And I believe that is really what separates the work I'm doing from anything else out there, right? Is because this is where I want to bring my clients to a place of empowerment and having such a deep level of heart-centered self-awareness that they can navigate anything that comes their way. And they put on 5 pounds. They're not failing. They're not miserable. They're enjoying life. They're not missing experiences, and they're loving themselves. And
but also too, do you think that may guide people in a wrong direction too? Like giving themselves a reason to just be.
To the extreme of okay, I'm not going to fucking do anything. No, I'm just going to fully accept my unhealthy self, and I don't need to do anything.
I can
this
eat
is love
every day. I just this is right. I'm accepting my life.
Then I would ask my clients, well, you came to me to feel good, right? Yeah. So is that in alignment with feeling good? Right? So it's not about not taking action. Then they're not meant to work with me, and you can go see somebody else. Yeah. I'll talk to you later. I can't help you. Right. Yeah. So, and I'm glad you brought this up because it's about taking action from a place of love versus something wrong with me. So it's not an excuse to be in inaction. That's not what I'm saying. But it's about how can we be in action, taking action, while loving ourselves, while navigating through the struggle, right? Because I think a lot of people, it's okay, struggle hits, we get challenged, I'm exhausted, whatever the thing is, right? Then they stop. They think it means something about them. Well, this is why I can't have X, Y, and Z. This is what's wrong with me, right? Then that perpetual belief that they have about themselves, whatever limiting thought, whatever excuse, whatever comfort zone they hold, stops them, right? So that's usually the defining moment. That's usually what the opportunity is. So no, it's absolutely not an excuse to not do anything, but it's about, okay, first we come to an acceptance of where we are so we can hold a standard that allows us to move from a place of love. And then we show up for ourselves. That is powerful, right? Instead of see, I'm fucking fat. This is why I fail at everything. This is what's wrong with me. These are thoughts women are having. I'm not saying it to be harsh or to these are what these women, when they come to see me and my clients, these are the thoughts they're having about themselves. It's really sad, right? And then they bring themselves back to that comfort zone and all the limiting thoughts and the patterns, right? And so in order to shift all of that, right, we need to come from a place of love, right? So then we start taking action from that place and we start shifting those beliefs to the perspective that feels good, right? So you ask, if they say, well, that feels good to me, well, one, they're probably fucking lying to you. So like it doesn't feel good for them to be like overweight, lethargic, and eating shit all the time. There's no fucking way. But again, that's their comfort zone, and if they're not willing, then they're not meant to work with me. So I can't help people like that. What if, for example,
like they never saw exercise as something they would do. They try to, they eat as healthy as they can and with what they think is healthy. Yeah. Not really knowing maybe what they're eating is healthy or whether it's healthy or not. Yeah. And then, maybe having their dessert every day, thinking that I gotta, it's my dessert, so I'm going to treat myself for my dessert. It's once a day. And that could be,
But they're like, I want to change.
But maybe they want more structure, because really, like, what is your, like, so for example, if I was, what are people, the women that come to you, are they looking for like a fitness coach, or is it like a spiritual coach?
That's a great question. I feel like as I'm evolving and shifting my brand, I feel like I'm this like intertwined weird hybrid. Like
I'm spiritual coach is what it sounds like.
I'm an intuitive mindset, like heart-led coach. Yeah. So I'm really trying to like integrate spirituality into fitness and then integrate energetics into weight loss, right? To create like the ultimate transformation.
It's finding self-love on like so that deep level. So you can actually want to take care of yourself. Like you're gonna be more aware in everything that you do.
Instead of like why would you want to work out and constantly lose weight and feel like you're constantly hitting a wall? Like, this is so fucking hard. I hate this. I can't do this. This isn't for me. Or in the retrospect, showing up because you hate yourself.
But if someone's already going to the gym,
right,
and they're doing that for themselves, I think it's already an effort to try to want to change themselves. And so it's more like, let's say that we find them in that state. Is it more like, how do they continue? So it's not just motivation. It's actually
they become that person.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's just finding that connection between,
because I have clients.
It's like, why are you doing it?
So
it's almost like, why are you?
It's like I'm in this weird.
No, I'm saying like for the client, it's like, it's almost like you have to figure out why.
That's the very first thing that I do with my clients, right? Is we set a deep intention and we get clear on your why and the desire behind why you're here, and not just a surface level, right? So I ask my clients multiple questions to get them to they don't even really know why they want to. I think the overall thing is like, some women come to me for weight loss. Some women come to me, they just want to have that time for themselves and build a routine, but ultimately they just want to feel good in their skin and they want to find themselves again. Most of the women come see me, they've lost themselves completely, right? They're lost in their anxiety. They're lost in the chaos of life. They don't feel good. They're not sleeping good. Their energy is low, like multitude of reasons. So I don't know what you would call me. I call myself an intuitive heart-led coach, but I integrate a bunch of everything, right?
Yeah. So I think it's
that's what I mean. So when I say like I feel like there's nothing like me out there, I truly believe there's nothing like me out there. But I also know that my transformations for my clients are
I think you're a mental health coach.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Mental health coach.
Yeah.
For women.
With spirituality. Yeah.
It could just be and then spirituality could be your secret.
Yeah. That is the secret sauce. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Pretty good. I think that's what it's coming down.
You think so? You're like claiming that?
I mean, I'm trying to figure out like it's because it's so much more than just like
weight loss.
It doesn't define what you're doing. And
that's how I'm shifting. So that's what I mean, right? Like when I first started, it was very much mindset, weight loss. That was it. Mm-hmm. But I want to be part of the health and fitness world, right? Because that's a huge passion of mine. Mm-hmm. And I think that is like one of the many pillars of success for any part, both spiritually and mentally and physically, right? But then I also help them mentally and internally.
Do you give them like workouts and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I integrate
nutrition, all that kind of stuff.
I integrate nutrition, movement. So we focus rather on movement, building the habit of movement, falling in love with movement versus like
I don't feel like doing this.
Pushing and so we're focusing on integrating nutrition, movement, energetics, heart work, and mindset. So it's like everything, right? So, and right now I'm trying to hone in on my expertise on all pillars because I want to be able to show up as best as I can for them. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like, if you want to change your entire life and your body, like, call me. Yeah. If you want to be a completely different woman and empowered and calm and confident and in control, like, call me. Right? Because I help my clients with so much more than just it goes beyond the physical body, right? So
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it ripples into everything, right? It ripples into their businesses, their careers,
everything,
their children, right? Some of my favorite clients are actually the ones outside of weight loss. Like, that is what I'm really, really passionate about, is being able to help them navigate all of their life and come back to a place of connection and empowerment, right? Like, I will hold space for them where they will literally feel like they just want to give up on everything, right? And then we talk, and then I shine the light on everything that they're experiencing, because everything that they're experiencing is the opportunity, right? Like the very first thing we said together, right? This is happening for them. So so I start integrating questions to get them to see, right? Because it's important that they come to the conclusion of why that is happening for them. It's not enough for me to just tell them, right? Yeah. Because I can see it already. Like, I know exactly why they're going through this. And more times than not, all they need to do is to come back to connection, to come back to trust, right? Because most of the time when we're navigating life, we're going through our mind and our ego, and then we get stressed, and then we get overwhelmed, and then we're like, what the fuck? And like all the things, and it starts spiraling, right? Yeah. So you're not going to be able to show up for yourself and take care of yourself and be the best version of yourself if that's how you function. Right? So again, coming from a place of acceptance of everything that you're experiencing and loving yourself, and then continuing showing up. And then we change their entire life and who they really are. So so call me for that. Yeah. Like, if you need help with that.
It's like spirituality and mental fitness coach.
Yeah, it's like taking mindset to like a whole
Call it
new
mental fitness. Mental fitness.
Well, I'm calling it heart-led health and fitness.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't mean to call it like mental.
But like the work I do, like mental fitness. Yeah. I don't know. I know that
it's gotta have spirituality.
It's gonna come to me.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the brand, the business name, the entity itself is going to be Heart-Led Health and Fitness. That's what I see as like a whole outside of me. Heart-led. Like, because I want it to be able to go international too. I want it to be something that other trainers and other gyms and other coaches can use, right? Because that's something that I hear a lot too, is from other personal trainers and other coaches. It's like, even my own personal trainer, with his other female clients, is like, why can't they not show up? Why is it so hard for them to eat the food that gets them the results? Discipline. Why do they struggle? Right. Well, it's their identity, right? It's their beliefs and thoughts. Yeah. It's their whole life experiences. It's memories they have. It's their entire like subconscious and being, and their lack of awareness and connection that is preventing them from doing it, right?
Yeah. It's habitual too. The brain subconsciously reacts to habits.
Yeah. It's all autopilot. Everything you're doing, right? So even the way me and you are standing here right now, and how I'm reacting to this uncomfortable, going outside of my comfort zone. Yeah. Everything is an imprint, really, in our brains and in our hearts. So, so that's what I want to bring into the fitness world, is because it's really just kind of surface level, really, and aesthetics. If we're just thinking about just exercise,
like why are we exercising? What is
weight loss is not holistic. No. Right? So I want to start creating a health and fitness that becomes holistic. So it becomes your body's natural response to taking care of yourself internally, right? And all of these, I believe, exercise, nutrition, all of that is part of spirituality, right? Because honoring ourselves and our bodies and the gift that we are from God, right? So,
yeah. I take that approach already in my life. Yeah, I only eat certain foods.
Yeah, so when it comes from that place, it's easy, right?
Yeah, when exactly. Your body naturally just goes into its shape.
Yeah,
right? You don't need to do all the extra work, really. Yeah.
And then we come again, and then we start healing, right, from all this conditioning of what health looks like too, right? Like, I'm not saying, again, it's not an excuse to like, sit on the couch and not do anything and allow yourself to get overweight. Like that is not healthy. But what I'm saying
I think once you actually get there and you realize what you're trying to achieve, everything else will kind of just line up for you depending on what you're trying to achieve. Because no one could really give you the schedule that you need.
No, you have to figure that out. Not that what's going to last you long term, not what's going to be in alignment with your soul and your heart. And if you truly want to live at peace, right? Which means your body will start living at peace, which means your results will just come easier, right? So it doesn't need to be a struggle. Yeah. I'm not for someone who can go to the gym every day and has no problem and can prep. Like that's not the person I'm meant to be with, because they're already living in a line, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. But what if that's something
that like they see as a purpose for them?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So, sorry. You mean like someone who's going to the gym 5 times?
I'm saying like I'm not there to help someone who can show up for themselves in a way that feels good to them. They're already moving in alignment with who they are. Yeah. Maybe they might not be consciously or spiritually aware of it, but if it's easy for you, it's because that's a part of who you are, right? So I'm not meant to help women like that. I'm meant to help women who are struggling to become who they want to be in order to get the results they want, whether that's weight loss, whether that's just feeling good, sleep, less pain, less anxiety, depression, their business, like all of it, right? So
it's like tuning into themselves.
Yeah, and I don't know where that will take me as a brand, as Sondra Gatien Wellness Coaching, as we move into heart-led fitness, but I don't need to know how now. No, I just I hold the vision, I feel the vision, and I know that that's the shift too, that the health, wellness, and fitness industry is already kind of shifting into, right? So I'm excited to just kind of blow that up here in Ottawa, and that's ultimately my goal. And to, like the long-term goal, being able to give that gift and that technique and these tools to other coaches and other gyms and other trainers, right? Because even if you can sprinkle a little bit of that and help empower someone and help them shift their beliefs about them, it's going to make their job easier, and their transformations are going to be better, which means they're going to have more clients, which means they're just going to make more money. And we're going to start you know what I mean? So it's just the impact becomes so exponential, and it just starts rippling into everything. And it's the same impact that my work does on my clients. So I'm excited for the future. It's going to be wild and fucking crazy, and it's just starting. But I'm here for it. Yeah. And I know my name and who I am is not super well known too. And I'm excited.
It's bullshit.
Do you think it's bullshit?
You
think that's my own belief?
It's all bullshit in your head,
You're probably right.
Who cares about that?
I like that you're calling me out on that.
Are you kidding me? If you don't believe that you're already roaring,
I believe I'm roaring.
You just got to keep roaring louder.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't worry about whatever the fuck you just said there. What did you say again?
Yeah, I don't even remember. What are we talking about?
Yeah, who gives a fuck about that? They're not doing anything anyway. Who's gonna say what? Yeah. Whose name is higher? I mean.
Yeah.
And no.
I'm with
you. Your presence isn't heard yet.
Yeah.
The way, I guess, to where you want it to be.
That's right. Yeah. But that's okay, right? This whole conversation right now just reminds me to come back to connection and to come back to my heart and being like, okay, I'm going to trust.
Don't ever be intimidated by the person ahead of you.
Yeah, right? And so I'm just showing up in the actions of her, which is scary as fuck. So again, right? Like it's all about stepping out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And I get to share that with the women that I get to work with every day. And it's so powerful. And I'm excited to break even more walls down, and just to, make not just a name for myself, because it's bigger than me. It's not about me anymore. My purpose has gone above my personal goals and what my ego wants from it, right? It's really about the impact as a whole, right? And allowing women to lead that change. And I think that's what the world needs more than anything right now. So.
Absolutely. I think you should start probably getting your clients to do some testimonials.
I actually do testimonials, but
video testimonials?
I do have a few.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, if you go to...
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I should have probably checked before I spoke. I'm so sorry.
Now we know. Now we got... He's busted.
My bad.
Didn't do his homework.
No, but I just want to... I would love to hear their stories. I would love to hear their actual stories.
Yeah.
If they're willing to say it,
I actually... It's interesting.
You don't have to share them right now.
No, absolutely not. But it's just interesting that you're bringing it up, because it has been a little quiet for me for testimonials. Because some of my clients it's very private, right? What they go through. But I do believe like,
it's like a graduation. It's like a graduation.
Sharing our story is so fucking powerful, right? You hear that all the time, but what's more
it's really
impactful,
getting them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, but what's more impactful is to be for ourselves to be witnessed, because I feel like it's like it's like that final fucking step, right? It's like, okay, here I am, and it's like you step into that and you share your story. And you just like solidify more of the beliefs that you've been cultivating to be the woman that you are. And it's just like, I see like, it just opens them up to everything that they've been becoming. So it's really beautiful, but I do plan on doing a lot more video testimonials, cause that really excites me. And I think just having that energy and having people
I think it'd be cool to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. Well, like I was telling you, I hired an assistant and she does all that stuff. So she's really I'm excited to be working with her. She also wants to be a coach in the future. So that's really cool to be able to mentor her too through that. But she's going to be helping me a lot with like the,
Nice. There's levels to coaching. And like you can always keep upgrading your level to coaching.
I will be constant.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
My evolution will never stop. I'm always going to be constantly in education. Yeah. That's how I see it. Well, life is literally my education too, right? So being able to live and breathe that. But you'll definitely be seeing more of me.
I want to. I can't wait. That's why
seeing more videos of me. Like really, I feel like the next few months I'm really going to be exploding too. And I'm also going to be getting out of my comfort zone, doing more video testimonials, doing more, video content too, because right now I believe that people need connection more than anything.
Absolutely. I think what you may be for a lot of women is a great companion.
Yeah.
In their lives when they have no one to guide them.
I fall in love with every single one of my clients.
Yeah, because they're coming to you, and when people get personal, you have no choice. You know, you gotta if you're especially if you're coaching, you kind of feel them. You feel what they're saying. Yeah.
And I believe that because, some of my clients have been with me still. There's some of them are still working. They're like the OG mind and body girls from my very first launch, and they still work with me and they want to keep working with me.
It's awesome.
Right. So I think it's just a testament to the work, not necessarily me.
Accountability.
Yeah, but to the work, how powerful it is. Again, because it's not me. Like when they continue to work with me, or they sign 12-month contracts, or they keep working with me after 12 months because they want more, they want to be more, that's a testament to the power of the work, not me. And to the mission of God and all of that, right? And to how much they have changed from that, to the fact that they want to keep going. So I think it's really beautiful, and I watch it ripple into every part of their lives, and they impact more women, and it's just like this compound effect.
Exactly.
And
it just kind of keeps passing down.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for the future. It's going to be great. So I can't fucking
I wish
wait.
you all the success.
Thank you.
And I will do my best to help you as much as I can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm like fired up about this like co-creation. I feel like more is going to come from it. I love chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for like pulling me out of my comfort zone,
problem,
allowing me to literally be my most like fucking authentic self. My coach is going to be so proud of me.
I think this is so important. I think this is so important.
So, and it feels really good. And it's interesting. I had no idea any of this was going to happen today, that we were going to talk about anything we were going to talk about, or that we were going to smoke a joint together. But I fucking loved every minute of it. Amazing. And it's actually been something I've been working through internally myself the last few weeks. Good. Sharing
you have to
just those parts of me, but just those parts of me that are outside the box of what you would think of a coach. Like I said, right? I've had people tell me that they're shocked that I am the way I am, and that's not what I want. So all of this is just super powerful for me, and it's like just the whole experience too. Absolutely. So I'm really excited. It's just spitting fire under my ass. Amazing. And I can't wait to share more of myself. Holding you accountable. It's holding me accountable to being more authentic in myself and sharing the truth of who I am, and allowing that to impact more women. And I'm really excited for the next few months. And I'm sure we're going to chat again.
Absolutely. If you ever need any sort of advice, any sort of help with anything like that, you let me know. It's not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Did you want to shut this down?
Yeah, let's do her. Like, right. What do I do?
No, nothing.
Nothing. Thank you. Love you so much. So much love for you.
Problem.
It's been an honor. Like, it's super cool to connect. I can't wait to fucking share this because I also think people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna blow some fucking minds with this.
Absolutely. And I have a lot of other people too that you're gonna probably be like, "Oh, you didn't realize." Yeah, and I won't say any names. I'm not dropping any names yet. I'm just going to let everybody see.
No, I love the mystery. Keep the mystery. You're always working in silence, right? And then you fucking just explode the world. So that's what we're going to do. I feel like both individually as a collective too. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Follow me on Instagram.
Show them.
Can you see that?
I can zoom into that. Watch your head.
So follow me so professionally done, follow me, Sondra Gatien. Because big things to come for sure.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.